Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for episode 127 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple, and I'm joined by my co-host,
George Breden.
And in this episode, we talk about the board games, Fantasy Realms, the Cursed Hoard expansion, parks, Cryo, and much more. Alexa, ask a random question.
Here's a question for you. What's the first thing you do when you get home from a trip?
Pass out. No. I think there's two things to this. What do you do when you first get home from a trip? And what do you do when you first get home from a convention?
Ooh, yeah.
I feel like those are two separate things. What about you? What about getting home from a trip?
I think, yeah, the first thing I'm going to, I'm using the restroom because, like, I try, if there's a way I can avoid convention restrooms or whatever.
No, let's do trips first. I think conventions are separate, right?
Okay.
Or at least for me. I don't know if they're different for you, but.
I mean, if it's a long way to go to get to the convention, but usually, no, it's pretty close from where we are. We're fortunate that we're pretty close to Indy, pretty close to Columbus.
Yeah, within 4 hours, we could get the most of the gaming conventions.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be sleep. It's got to be like a long sleep because it's just tiring. It's always easy to go somewhere and you're excited and you're all amped for it. And then the trip back is always a drag.
Yeah, I agree. A better question for this would have been, do you take off the Monday afterwards?
Yes.
Because a lot of people, if they plan a trip, they're going to go and come back Sunday or maybe come back Saturday, I guess, possibly. Conventions are always a Friday to Saturday, or I'm sorry, Friday to Sunday or like a Thursday to Sunday. So do you take off that Monday?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I have never done that. And I regret it every year. And I say every time I'm going to take off Monday next year.
Then why don't you do it?
I don't know. I don't know why I have the vacation time. It's not like I couldn't do it. Which is weird because let's just take Gen Con, for instance. As soon as we come back, I'm so tired because when you go on a trip, right, you walk around and maybe you're tired because there's just so much things that you did. When you go to a convention, at least for me, I'm carrying so many things throughout the whole convention. For us, we get like review copies, or even if we just buy a bunch of games, you're carrying all that around, especially if you don't have an attached hotel. So you're carrying around games, walking 5 miles a day. You do this 3 to 4 times. And then since we always drive back, you're right. You drive, you're in the car, you're like, 4 days was fun, but I hate my life. And then you park and you get out, and you lug all your crap back in because you have, bags of board games.
Yeah, it's always, and oh man, it's just exhausting. And I'm this kind of weird person where I don't know if I'm an introvert or an extrovert because I just go through phases, right? Like I love my alone time, but then I love being around people for a short span of time, right? And so I'll go to a convention, I'll have a great time meeting all kinds of people and just, I really enjoy it. But it drains me. And I come back and I need some time to just be left alone.
Yeah, so the temperaments or personalities or whatever, the way I understand it is extroverts, picture yourself as you got batteries, right? My wife tells me this stuff all the time. With extroverts, when they're around people, it charges their batteries. Introverts, when they're around people, it depletes their batteries.
Yeah, so I'm an introvert then.
Right, so it's not like all introverts are like, I hate people. I mean, come on.
No. Like, right? I enjoy being around people when I'm around them, but then I'm done.
Yeah, once you leave, you're like, oh. Yeah. Even it's like your best friends or whatever, you're like, oh, I get to go back, do whatever I want by myself.
Right.
Right, and I think that's more of an introvert thing. That's pretty typical. Whereas an extrovert, they get recharged by getting in front of people and talking and meeting people. And it's like when they're at home sleeping or they're at home doing just daily tasks, there's no people around, their batteries drain and they have to go get in front of people to refill them.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting way to see it. Anyway, we won't drag this question on anymore, but I think the first thing I do when I get home, other than hug my kids and my family and stuff, is I collapse.
Yeah.
Especially not so much from a trip, but actually, you know what? No, I will say even a trip. At this point with 2 kids, trips are just like cons. You're bringing up like 50 bags back into the house because a lot of the trips that we drive, we haven't flown with the kids or anything. And we have a ton of bags that we pack into this car or SUV or whatever. And it's just a lot of, because you can't just get home and go inside. You have to bring everything inside.
Yeah.
And it's just super, super tiring. And it's always late in the day. You never get back from a trip at like 3 PM.
I always get so many games at Gen Con and I always park so far away.
Oh man. I got a story about that. Eric and I went to Origins. This was the year right before pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Actually, it might have been the year before that. I can't remember now. The pandemic threw everything off. Anyway, we did a math trade and we parked so far away. We were on the opposite end of the convention center and we brought our IKEA bags full of games. I think we both had 2 and we had a couple of extra bags with us, you know, just in case we needed them.
Yeah.
We had to stop probably 5 or 6 times on the way there. Actually, if you look back in our Instagram account, I have pictures of all the games. We had to stop a few times on the way there to rest because our hands were just bleeding basically from carrying these bags. We stopped off at one of the little places where you get coffee and we grabbed just big stacks of napkins and used them as cushions for our hands to grab the handles. And then we went and did the math trade and we just came back with more games because we don't math trade 1-to-1 apparently.
Oh no.
We like trade a game and get like 3 games or something because people put bundles on there or whatever.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you guys are the master of getting deals, so I can see this.
Yeah, I think one year, I think that year maybe I had, I don't know, 22 games or something like that. And most of them were Ticket to Ride style boxes. So, I mean, you had a lot of stuff on you and I came back with over 50. It was nuts.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I was really tired after that.
Yeah. Well, I have a story about Gen Con when I went there and I parked, I don't know, 7 blocks away or something like that. And it was decent price and everything, right? But it was just an outdoor parking area. And it wasn't in a garage or anything, right? And I learned my lesson because 2 days later, when I go back to my car, ready to leave, I start my car up and it makes like this hideously loud grinding, you know, like snarling, I have
like
no
I'm
muffler
done?
sound. Like I have no muffler. The muffler is gone. And I get out and I look at it and it has a muffler. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? But I got under the car and the muffler wasn't connected because they had cut the catalytic converter out.
Oh man, really?
Yeah. These people go around and they just go through and they just cut all the catalytic converters off, you know, a whole bunch of cars in a row and put it in a shopping cart and take them off.
Call me morbid, but I actually think we should have explosives tied to those. I'm fine. I mean, my car can go away. That's cool. I mean, it would deter it really well. I don't have any sympathy or empathy for thieves. Sorry. Like, there's one thing if somebody's poor and stealing food, right? But then somebody's stealing catalytic converters or ripping copper out of walls of homes being built.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's that same kind of thing. Yeah,
I don't have a single empathetic bone in my body for you.
Yeah,
Sympathy,
well,
whatever.
I didn't at the time. I was pretty unhappy, but fortunately, I had the next day off because, you know.
Is it still drivable at that point?
Plan
Like,
ahead.
could you drive it?
Yeah, but it was just like so loud.
Yeah,
I didn't go very far. I needed to just take it and get it worked on.
man. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
it
at
was-
least they didn't, like, weirdly enough, at least they didn't break in and steal your games. No. You know, it's weird because
That's true. That's actually true.
here's the thing. A catalytic converter is easy to replace. You just go and pay somebody.
$400.
Yeah, but dude, like some of those games that you got possibly could be irreplaceable. I don't know what you had, but sometimes I come back with games that I've been looking for 2 years. I'd rather replace the catalytic converter than to spend that time looking for that game again.
Okay, that's fair.
You know, like a company brings a bunch of games over from Germany. They're weird, obscure games.
Yes. No, I always get those kind of games. You're right. I get some gems out of Gen Con that, yeah, I would hate to not have. Yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm saying. You know, I'd rather somebody, it's just so weird. Yeah, that's fine, man. Still that, don't take my games. I'm just saying.
And I'm sure I spent way more than 400 on games anyway.
Yeah. They look at it, I can't resell this. All right, well, let's quickly talk about what we've been up to since last podcast. That one was posted a little bit late last week. Sorry about that. The holiday really kind of pushed it a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll say the two things I want to mention that I've been doing, and that is me and my son have been playing Kirby Fighters 2 for the Nintendo Switch. He basically ran out of games to play because he's beaten all the ones he's 5, by the way. This is great. He's beaten all the games that we have, except for the ones he can't really read that well, right? Mm. Like some of the Pokemon games, yeah, they're easy to play, but you don't know what you're doing unless you can read. And he can't read that many words. And I don't have a lot of time to sit down and play with him. So our babysitter does, but they usually play like Mario together and things like that he's already played. He wanted a new game, and I got on there and I just searched for games with demos and downloaded a few games. And one of them was this Kirby Fighters 2. It's kind of like Super Smash Brothers. Have you ever played Super Smash Brothers?
No, but I've seen it. I know what it is.
Okay. Well, I was looking at it, and you pick a Kirby, right? If you're not familiar with Kirby, he basically is this little pink ball dude who sucks up stuff. And if he sucks up an enemy, he takes the power from the enemy. So if he sucks up like a knight, he gets a hat with an armor and a sword, and he runs around. It's really a fun game, right? All the Kirby games are really good.
That sounds cool.
And he was wanting to play that, so we started playing it or whatever. And it's really slow paced, kind of like a Smash Brothers. And I told him, maybe we can get Smash Brothers. They don't have a demo, but we can probably buy it because it has like Sonic and Mario and Pikachu and all these little characters he's gotten to know through playing these Nintendo games. And I went and bought it and brought it back, and we started playing it. And I didn't realize that it was basically on speed. I mean, Super Smash Bros. Is a very fast game.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm keeping up with it because I'm twitchy, right? Like I like twitchy type of games.
Yeah, I do.
But he's just standing there just looking at the screen and just so much going on. He's not even moving his character. He says some funny things every once in a while. We're playing this horde mode. It's called Mob Smash, I think, where you have to like beat 100 guys. And like 5 or 6 are on screen at once. And he was like, look, I can just push him off. And he walks over and just pushes the guy off. I'm like, hey, you can push buttons there. But it was just really funny because he just died. So I'm just going to push him off. It was hilarious.
If it works, hey.
He's pretty funny. And so I don't know, I felt bad. So we're going to buy the Kirby Fighters 2 for him because it's more his pace. It's a very light game and super it's like playing Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo and then playing a Street Fighter game from now. Like, it is so much faster, right?
Yeah. Well, good that they have something, more his speed. That's excellent.
Right. And we played a couple of other games. There was Kirby Star Allies. That was pretty fun. And then there was another game that's kind of like Kirby Fighters 2. I can't remember what it is, the name offhand, but it's Kirby something. And it's basically like Monster Hunter. I'm not even joking.
Really?
Yeah. Like you can play up to 4 players and you take a quest and it sends you out and you basically fight a boss. But it's a 2D game like Street Fighter, right? Where you just move left and right and you can jump over the guy and stuff. And you have all these abilities or whatever. And most of your ability is based on the weapon you selected, but you fight the thing, you kill it, you get resources, you go back, you build armor and stuff, and you do it again.
Wow.
It's like a 2D Monster Hunter. It was hilarious.
Huh.
It's really terrible frame rate though. It like runs at 30 frames a second, which I didn't really understand that. However, which it really is jarring when you're playing it because it's not very smooth.
Right.
Which means it might be below 30 actually. Anyway, it's free to play and it's pretty hilarious that it was like a Monster Hunter game. Let's see. Kirby Monster Hunter. Let's see if it shows what it's called. Yeah, it's called Super Kirby Clash. Maybe that's not it. Is that it?
It sounds like there's a whole lot of these Kirby games, though. That's cool.
Yeah, there's a ton of Kirby games. But anyway, I don't know. And maybe it's I think it's Super Kirby Clash because it says Nintendo's Monster Hunter co-op. Anyway, check that out if you're interested. But what you been up to?
Well, I'll talk about a computer game as well. Not one that I've played, but one that I've just seen, and I'm really interested in it. I'm sure I'm going to get it pretty soon here. And there aren't a lot of games like this. It's called Chivalry 2. Have you seen that one?
Oh, Chivalry is awesome. Yeah,
Chivalry looks amazing, and it's like the next version of it, right? And apparently there's some other game that's called Mordhau, which is, basically those three, if you want multiplayer medieval combat, those are your choices, right? But now Chivalry 2 supposedly has some changes that to me sound like they're pretty good. That you can block a lot more, and it's not all about just faking out and timing the blocks of people. And there's healing, so people can like crawl away from a combat, and you could like heal them up. It just sounds amazing. And normally I get into these like massive multiplayer shooter kind of things, and I enjoy those. But this looks so much better as a medieval fighting. I've never done that. It looks great. I have to try it soon.
Yeah, we played Chivalry for, 3 or 4 months. We played it a lot, and it is chaotic because there's so many people on each team. I don't remember what the count is, but I know there was at least like 20 on each team.
This goes up to 64.
Yeah, I think it was around the same. I don't know how many it was offhand without looking it up, but there was a lot. And you just go flooding out. And I always use the two-handed sword. It's like, that guy's just dead. He's like, falls on the ground. Mostly it's just hitting people from the back when they don't see you.
Yeah, but that's realistic. Like if you were in a combat like that, that is where you don't want to get hit. That would definitely happen.
Yeah, you need to have your back covered by somebody for sure.
Yeah.
But it was just such a chaotic game. Like the matches weren't very long.
Would you just play for like a second, then like, oh, I'm dead now?
If I remember correctly, I believe you respawn. Maybe. I think you have so many lives, and I guess there's different game modes too, so it depends on which game mode you're playing.
Okay.
But it was a lot of fun.
It looks really entertaining, yeah.
Man, I haven't played that in a while. It's been at least 5 or 6 years now or something.
Well, long enough for them to make another version of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I did see that on Epic Games not too long ago that they were like an ad for it, that it was coming out.
Yep. Yeah, it's just out just now. So
very cool.
We may have to do that. We should do this.
Yes.
All right.
Anything else?
Well, I just want to give a shout out on the board game front. I had a copy of Minara, which is a cooperative dexterity game where you're placing pieces and building up these towers, basically, and platforms. And there's an expansion for it called Rituals and Ruins. And I bought the expansion. I can't say for certain if this was my fault or not. I may have done this, but I honestly don't know. I could have got the expansion, opened it up, put everything in the new, back in the regular Minara box, except for the cards, and then threw away the box of the expansion with the cards in it.
Oh, man.
That is very possible. Or it just didn't come with cards. I honestly don't know. In any case, I wrote to the company, Zach zum Spielen, and I got to say, major props to Zach, because they sent out a replacement from Germany of all the cards in the game.
That's awesome.
Fantastic customer service. Yeah.
Speaking of not good good customer service, but a little bit less so on the consumer side of things. I forgot to mention the story earlier, cause I didn't write it down in the show notes. I'm not going to point out who it was, but one of the publishers on Facebook was like, please don't do this to publishers, people. Basically, to paraphrase, the customer was like, I bought this game. It was in shrink. The box looked fine. I opened it up. One of the pieces was broken. And the publisher was like, okay, no problem. Give me your address. We'll ship it out there to you. And the guy was basically like, okay, cool. And it would be really cool if in that package were some promo cards to right the wrong. I'm like,
oh,
wow, dude.
No.
And he's like, promo cards are available on our website. And the guy, there's maybe a little bit more to that, but basically that was it. And I was just like, dude, you handle that super professionally. Screw that guy. come on, dude.
Yeah, right. If the company wants to give you a promo card, cool, they will. But don't be begging. Come on.
No, that's insane, especially for something like that. I mean, he's sending you the replacement. What else do you want?
Apparently they want a promo card.
He could have just said, take it back to the shop you bought it from and then have them replace it or something.
Yeah, that is a possibility for sure.
Nah. And on top of that, he doesn't even have to believe you. What happens if you broke it?
Yeah, like in my situation, I couldn't say for certain that that it wasn't my fault. I didn't even know, but they were still like, we're sending you the cards. So, hey, awesome. And I had all the the invoice from where I bought the game and the what is it? The code, from the game and everything.
Right.
Like, I provided that and everything, so it's all on the up and up. And maybe, I don't know, maybe they look back and said, oh yeah, it's from this batch where we didn't send out the cards with those. I don't know. But either way, they sent the cards and it was super nice. But I didn't say, hey, while you're doing it, send me the...
Yeah, send me some promo cards too. Yeah. I think for the most part, publishers are really cool about replacing pieces. I mean, I bought games from Goodwill and they miss pieces and you just message them, and most of the time they're cool with sending it to you. Sometimes they'll be like, if you spend a little bit of money on our store, I don't mind adding it in there. Just shoot me your order number. And I think that's reasonable.
Fair. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I did that with Stoneforge game or who makes Ascension? Stoneblade Entertainment.
Okay.
I told him I bought one of their Ascension things and it didn't come with the board. I bought it from a Goodwill and I own like all their other stuff. And he was like, I can't just ship that out because obviously it's not a mistake on our end, but I don't mind giving it to you if you're going to make a purchase on the store, just to cut, because you would be paying shipping at that point, right? And I told him that was cool. So I bought some promos and stuff and they shipped the board with it. Yeah. Which again, I think that's fair. But the point is that they're cool enough to do that in the first place. You bought the game secondhand at that point, but I'm cool with sending it to you. I mean, I think for the most part, publishers are super cool. I like promos, but dude, you can't just ask for promos because of a mistake. If they offer it, that's cool. But I mean, the mistake was being righted by them sending the replacement piece. You should be happy about that.
Absolutely agreed.
On top of that, it might not even be their issue. I mean, what happens if that game was thrown against a wall? Yeah, maybe the box looks fine, but if it landed flat against the wall and it jarred it around, I guess you can argue that maybe blah, 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 stuff inside should have been packed better, yada, yada, whatever. Anyway, anything else?
Not cool.
That you've been up to?
Well, yeah, I now that everyone has been getting vaccinated and everyone on my soccer team is vaccinated, I'm going to be going back to playing soccer outside.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. And man, am I out of shape.
I knew it was coming. I mowed the grass and was like, man, I'm out of shape. As a matter of fact, I think I strained my shoulder doing it. Although my hill's like on a 40-degree angle. So.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's going to be something and I'm not the only one on the team saying, this is going to be embarrassing when we finally get out there again. Cause I think this whole past year has been hard on everybody.
Right.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So about a month. I've got about a month to get into shape and do what I can. But man, I was jogging a few times this week and it's rough.
Need to get a treadmill. Well, I guess if you're jogging, but you can treadmill while you're gaming.
Yeah, right. I got to do something. But do you know when you work out and then like the middle of the night, you like wake up at a massive cramp because,
yeah,
you just twisted the wrong way and your body's like, yeah, not enough, whatever it is.
Potassium.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, cool. Do you got any Kickstarter stuff at all?
Well, I've backed a few things recently. I backed Mechanical Beast. I think I mentioned this the last one.
Yeah.
Okay, I backed that one, and I backed Paperback Adventures. Other than that, I really haven't got anything going for Kickstarter right now, but I'm looking forward to later this month. There are a couple that are upcoming, which I'll certainly talk about again, but at some time this month, Paradox Initiative is supposed to be coming out on Kickstarter, and that is a remake of Paradox, and it's by Elf Creek Games. And then Also, there's a little game called Tranquility, which I rather enjoy, which was a Kickstarter. They're going to be making another version of it called Tranquility the Ascent. And so instead of floating around on an ocean, you're climbing up a mountain. But it has a few extra wrinkles with the same basic gameplay of you have to play ascending cards, and the difference between the numbers that you play is how many cards you have to throw away, and your deck is your life kind of thing. It's clever. It's clever, enjoyable 2-player co-op.
Sweet.
Or well, actually it might be for more, but that's how I've been playing it.
That's fair.
So those two I'm looking forward to, and there's probably some more that I can't think of right now, but just at the moment, nothing on Kickstarter that's really grabbing my attention. I know there's The Witcher, which is just, raking in a massive amount of money, and maybe it's a good game, but I'm ignoring that one.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not really your style, I don't think.
It's
Although,
not.
After looking into it a little bit more, I'm kind of interested. I don't know if I'll back it, but I'd really like to play it for sure.
It's got all the minis. It's got all the, run around and do stuff on a map and fight each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, not my thing.
All right, well, you ready? Move on?
Let's do it.
So before we talk about the games we got, please check out humblebundle.com and click that Humble Bundle partner link in the middle. Back some bundles of games and books or whatever you want. Support charities, support the show, support Humble Bundle. I'm a massive fan of this site, obviously, since I talk about it every episode. Not just because have an affiliate link with them or a partner link or whatever. I use the site anyway, and I just think it's such a cool organization, and you get tons of games. You don't always get the newest games, obviously. Sometimes you get games from last year or whatever, and they have a store where you can buy current releases as well. But the bundles are just so cool. Like, they have a bundle where you get all the XCOM games ever released, $15 type of deal. So keep an eye on that. Definitely check out, go to our MeepleCore.com and click the link, help support the show. And for this episode, we got 3 games that we're going to talk about. We have the expansion to Fantasy Realms, the Cursed Hoard, Parks, and Cryo. So first up on this episode, we have the expansion to Fantasy Realms, the Cursed Hoard.
This is a 2021 release. Use cursed items to power your growth in Fantasy Realms, but at a terrible cost. And the designer is Bruce Glasgow. The artist is Anthony Kernoyer, and the publisher is Wizkids.
So there's not a lot to this expansion. Obviously, Fantasy Realms didn't have a lot to it anyway. If you're not familiar with what Fantasy Realms is, it's we talked about it last episode, I believe. We reviewed it. So please check that out. But it's such a small game, I'll just re-explain it. Basically, you get 7 cards. On your turn, you draw a card, and then you discard a card. When you discard a card goes face up on the table, not in a pile. So when you draw your card at the beginning of the turn, you can choose it from the top of the deck or one that is on display. Once the 10th card has been discarded to the face up, then the game will end and you count up all your points. And the cards have all these different scoring methods. They're worth a base point cost by themselves. But if you keep, like if you have a sword and you combine it with the shield and the leader or whatever, I don't remember what it was, but if you combine it with this and this, you'll get all these bonus points. Or maybe there's another card that's like for every land card in your hand, you get these points. So you're trying to cycle through the cards to build this combo synergetic, scoring machine out of those 7 cards. And the expansion is building upon that. It changes the rules slightly. You play till there's 12 cards on the table and you have 8 cards in your hand to play with, but it also adds a cursed items deck and it adds 3 more suits of cards into the main deck. That's why the game adds more cards for the end game and gives you an 8th card because there's more cards to wade through in the main deck. And the cursed items, everybody gets one of these and they're face up in front of you. The basic premise of the cursed items is get a cool or use it one time for a cool ability, flip it face down, and it'll give you negative points at the end of the game. So best use the ability. Therefore, you can make up the point difference in what it, is going to subtract from you at the end. So on your turn, you always will do the same thing. You'll draw a card, discard a card. However, you also get to interact with that cursed item during your turn as well. where you can either flip it face down to do the ability, in which case it's going to score at the end. You can do nothing, or you can discard it and draw a new one. And that's pretty much it. Other than that, the expansion adds those other 3 suits, such as I think it's called the Outsiders, which are, they're pretty different from each other. I think they had the building cards, which they kind of do all the same kind of scoring. I think the most unique one it adds is the Undead. And what the Undead do is at the end of the game, you get extra points based on the type of cards that are out on the board face up. So if somebody's been discarding a lot of land cards and you have the Undead that gives you like maybe, I think it's like plus 4 points a land card in play on the table face up at the end of the game. That's pretty much it. Let's start with you, George. What did you think about this expansion, this small expansion to a small game?
Yeah, well, that's what I like about it, that it is a small expansion and the game still stays small and it feels small because you have the 8 cards rather than 7 in your hand, and it's not adding that much to the game, honestly. The gameplay still is fast. It didn't feel bloated. I'm not sure the expansion is entirely necessary, but it does give an interesting pair of set of decisions with the cursed cards, when to use them, what you want to do with it, and do you sort of just mill through the curses to try to get the one that'll really help you in your particular situation. So as long as that doesn't bog the game down too much, then I'm in favor of it. If people are going to be AP and take their time with it, well, they're going to do that anyway, probably, but, but it is one more step in the game, I guess. One thing that I will say is the art isn't necessarily as good as the art was in just the first version. So if you really care about the art, maybe it'll put you off a little bit, but it's not, it didn't bother me too much. It's noticeably different. No
clue that it was different. Is it a different artist?
I don't know, but it seems a bit simplistic compared to the other art.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a slight style difference there, and you can, if it bothers you, it's going to bother you, but for me, it's okay. And I think that all in all, if you like new cards and having new things to do in the game, it's going to be good. And especially if you've played the game to death maybe in the first version, this will be really welcome for you. The game itself, the first version, I really like, and I don't know that it really needs an expansion.
I would say the base game is pretty good for what it is, and it didn't really need an expansion. This is actually a good expansion for that because I don't think it bloats the game out any.
Yeah.
It's slightly longer. We haven't played it as many times as the base game, obviously, but it is slightly longer because you are adding more cards into the deck and there's more turns going on because the limits that you have now. But it's one of those expansions where I would buy it, once it's available. The expansion's available. It's really hard to find the base game right now. I will buy it, but I probably won't play with it most of the time. Like, I don't think it's a necessary expansion unless you're playing it with people who played Fantasy Realms a lot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't add this, even though the game is more of a filler, I wouldn't add this in on their first playthrough because I feel like players could get really hammered by the cursed items if they don't understand the point system, right? Because you might flip, it's a really cool ability. You flip it face down and you get, -5 points at the end of the game, but 5 points is 5 points, right? I feel like the scores are a little bit lower in the expansion than they were in the base game. So those points are more significant than what you think they would be, I guess.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a swing there. There's a bit more swinginess, I think, because some of the cursed items give you points. They give you positive points, and there are others that give you more significant amounts of negative points. And okay, they have more powerful effects, so if you know what you're doing, you could use them better. But yeah, there's going to be a bit of luck.
I agree.
Obviously, there's so much luck in this game anyway, but but this is just going to make it, just a bit swingier, I think.
I believe, there is luck in the game, obviously, because it's cards and what comes out, whatever. But in games that are like under 30 minutes, it's almost okay. That's fine. Yahtzee has a lot of luck, but it's a fun game type of deal.
Yeah.
There's a card in there that is a treasure chest. And when you use it, I think it's like -1 point by itself, but it gives you 25 points at the end of the game. And you could just blast out cursed items every turn at that point.
Wow.
Because you're either going to break even after 4 or 5 cards, or, the game will end and you get whatever the difference is in the bonus points. Yeah, you spend 9 or 10 points in negative items, in cursed items worth of negative points, but that thing gives you 25, so maybe you net 14. Right. But what is that? I did that wrong. 25 minus 9, you net 19. Oh my God, it's late. 16. You know what? 5. 6.
You did it.
I did it. Oh man, it's been a long day.
That is the tricky thing about this game. I mean, while we're on the subject, there's a lot of math in this game. Like there really is.
Yes. And thankfully the base game has a really cool app that you can download. There are some issues with Wizkids getting that updated with the expansion. So there is a website that you can go to that does all the scoring for you, which we mentioned last time is really nice because if you don't quite understand a card, you could just add it into the score and be like, okay, well, it didn't count those points. It must be work, that way.
Yeah.
So the scoring app is amazing. It does include the expansion with the online version. It gets a little tedious though, because the undead, when they score for all the cards out on the table. And so it's when you add an undead, you have to tell it what cards are on the table that are appropriate for that one.
Right.
That gets a little tedious, but if you're doing it while you play, which you're not going to be able to do that everywhere. Right. But the scoring is kind of nuts at the end of the game if you don't use the app.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely use the app because lots of math.
Yeah. All right. Well, for me, I think it's kind of a weird expansion because I feel like it is you should buy it if you own Fantasy Realms, but it doesn't mean that you're going to play it a lot. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was a must buy, but it is a must buy. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to buy it to play Fantasy Realms, but you should buy it because it's a great expansion for the game when you use it.
You're going to enjoy it.
Yes.
Yeah. And it will help if you really get to the point where you've played it that much. It's going to break up some of those combos that are standard in the game and give you other options. So yeah, I'll agree with you there. And I want to add really quickly something that you had said earlier, is that now that it's been nominated Fantasy Realms for Spiel Award, that, there's a good chance that there are going to be lots and lots of expansions coming for it. And I kind of hope that's not the case because the game doesn't need it. The game as it is, as a filler, it's just about ideal. And I think lots of expansions could ruin that real quick. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll come out with wonderful expansions that, you throw in every once in a while and it'll be grand. I don't know, but you could be right that they'll be coming out with expansions for this just because it's going to become a very popular game. And I hope they don't take it in a direction that makes it just over bloated and less fun to play and turn it into Red Rising.
Well, I like Red Rising, but I get what you're saying too. You don't want to turn this into some big grandiose game. You still want to make it a filler, or maybe, you want to still hit that 20 to 30 minute mark. I personally, if, you would have asked me before this expansion, what would you add as an expansion? More cards? Like, what would you do? So adding like a whole deck of curse cards was a really cool way to add an expansion without really increasing the time that the game plays. Because, other than the cards you put in the main deck, you'll read them when they come out. You don't really even have to explain those to people. The curse cards, all you have to say is, read the card. If you want to use it face down, it gives you negative points at the end of the game. Right. Or you can swap it out for another one. Each time you use it, you get a new one. And that we just explained the whole expansion. I mean, so it doesn't add a lot to the game, and it doesn't add a lot. It does add a little bit to your decision making, I guess, because you can use those powers in a lot of cool ways. And that's something that didn't exist in the original game. So it does change the style of game a little bit, because before it was, what do I have in my hand? Oh, a new card came out. Oh, I want that card. All right, I'll pick that up and put this one down because it the point difference, it nets me points. The expansion, now you can start doing crazy stuff where, man, I don't know if, the shield is a card that's out, but, or, maybe you're paying attention to what other people do. And so you can use this little thing one of the cards the cursed items allows you to look in another player's hand. If you suspect that they might have a card, that would combo really well with something, now you don't want to put that down or whatever.
Yeah, but will they leave it there? Or will they just keep coming out with expansions? And,
there will be at least one other expansion. I cannot see that they would get nominated for Spiel. There'll at least be one expansion. If they win, there's going to be a Kickstarter with 25 expansions and miniatures. And the game's going to be insane.
Yeah.
Epic Fantasy Realms.
I hope they keep it a little bit within reason. I could see one expansion that would be interesting. They could come out with a deck where you play cards in between yourself and your neighbor on either side, and it affects both of your, sets of cards. So it might be good for you, but bad for them. And then they want to change it, and you just kind of go back and forth with that kind of stuff. That'd be kind of fun.
That'd be kind of fun. Yeah. I like games where you have stuff in between your people to your left and right. And
yeah,
as long as it's not like massively different, like all those cards have to be pretty balanced.
It just depends what you've got in your hand. If you've played something between you that says, you want to have undead cards or whatever, and you have them, but your neighbor doesn't, they're going to be wanting to change that thing, and it could lead to some interesting back and forth.
No, that'd be pretty cool.
There we go. Next expansion.
There you go. Coming to Kickstarter 2022. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Anything else?
No, it's great. It's great.
Yep. Like I said, you should buy it if you own the game, although you might not use it all the time. So great
Agreed.
Expansion for a great game. Anyway, that was Fantasy Realms, The Cursed Hoard. So next up on this episode, we are talking about parks.
A 2019 game, hike through national park tiles, collecting memories and admiring gorgeous scenery. The designer is Henry Audubon, the artist, 59 Parks print series, and the publisher, Keymaster Games.
So as he said in the title, Parks is basically a game where you're running around and going to the different national parks. You're visiting all these different parks and such, and you are trying to visit them to complete them to get points or whatever. And in just a second, I'm going to screen share some pictures here, but I don't know why it's not. Oh, here we go. All right. Anyway, we played this on Tabletop Simulator. The game looks much better in real life. The physical copy is gorgeous. The components are great. All right, we'll talk about that in a second. But basically, the way Parks works is you have a main board that has 3 parks that are face up, and then a deck. And then you have 3 of these. I can't remember if they're actually called equipment cards, but that's what I'm calling them. And then a deck that's, that will replenish those as they're purchased. And then below that, you're going to put out all these different tiles, and you play the game, I think, over 4 seasons or four times, basically. And this little hiking trail gets longer and longer. You add more tiles to it. And the primary focus of the game is down there. You got these 2 hikers that you're going to be, on your turn, you choose one of the hikers and you move it to the right as far as you want on however many, spaces you want to pass up or whatever. You cannot land on a tile with another hiker that has an asterisk, though, because you have a campfire token that you can spend. And when you do that, it allows you to move a guy on top of a place with another person for that round. And then once you finish the round, you're going to replenish that campfire. So you get to use it once per, fourth of the game or whatever. Anyway, the game is pretty simple, though. When you move, you're going to pick up resources. There's a couple of different resources. You got water, sunshine, and mountains, and a tree. And then there's a wild resource, which in the actual game is a bunch of different shapes of animals. There's some other tokens or tiles down there when, special tiles that get shuffled in as well, such as one will allow you to exchange resources, 2 resources for 2 of another resource, or there's one that allows you to get a canteen card or take pictures. The way the canteen works is anytime you get water, you can immediately fill the canteen, which basically just translates into exchange a water token for something else that your canteen provides, such as maybe it'll switch it out for a mountain card or whatever. At the end of the track, there's a card that actually says when your hiker gets here, you get one of 3 options. You can choose to basically grab a park card, and that will allow you to grab one of the cards from the middle of the table and put it in front of you, which you can complete later, but nobody else can take that, obviously. And the first player to do that will also get the first player marker. There's another action that will allow you to buy one of the equipment cards, and the first 1 or 2 people, depending on the player count, will get a discount of the sun tokens to purchase it. And the last option is to visit a park. And when you visit a park, you discard the resources that are shown on the park card. So maybe it requires 3 trees and a mountain, and you're going to take that and flip it face down, or, keep it in a scoring pile to show you how many points you have, because that's the primary way that you're going to get points throughout the game. And lastly, you have there's more to this game. Not a whole lot more, but I'm going to mention a few more things, then we're going to talk about it. There is a goal card that you'll have that basically will state something like, at the end of the game, get points for doing something specific, like gain, if you have enough park cards with 10 or more trees among them, or, for every park card that you have that has 2 of a certain resource, there's a whole bunch of them actually. And that will give you bonus points. And lastly, as you take pictures, you'll give you a picture token, and those picture tokens are worth 1 point apiece. There's a camera marker that gets passed around when people take pictures that actually makes the pictures cheaper, because normally they're 2 resources, but the camera will make it 1. And whoever is the last player each round will get the camera to start the round with. But that's essentially the game. It's a pretty light-ish game, I guess. But yeah. Let's start with you, George. What did you think about Parks?
Parks is a game that I ought to have enjoyed, and mostly for the art. The art is incredible, of course, as it should be. This was all commissioned art by the Park Service for last, I don't know, several decades of 59 different parks across the United States. Gorgeous. The gameplay just really left me cold. I'm sorry, I didn't enjoy this one. It is so similar to Takedo, which was one of my least favorite games.
So if you like Takedo, this is the next game on your purchase list.
Yeah. That whole idea of you move along a path as far as you like, but everyone is doing that, and it's however many spaces are available to you, that's how many moves you're going to get as you go along until you get to the end of the path. And it's go and do the obvious. And, you have a few choices each time. One of them is going to be clearly better than the others usually. And so you go there, and then, the game is practically playing itself. I feel, it's one of those, you're just forced into all of these various moves that none of them are inspiring. None of them feel clever. You're just doing what you got to do. And at the end of the day, you get a bunch of crap and you turn it in to get, points for it. And man, it's a long experience for that.
It is a little bit longer than I thought it would be. You play it a couple of times. Obviously, it's going to be shorter with people who've played it.
Yeah.
However, I don't know. It might be a little bit longer than I would expect it for a family weight game. And it is a very gateway game. And my problem I have with it, and it's not that I hated the game or anything, but to me, I don't feel like I'm visiting parks. It's just the theme that's there, right?
Right.
Collect a bunch of trees and a mountain. Okay, great. Complete it. You get points. Right. Just like I don't feel like I'm a jeweler by playing Splendor. It's the same like this.
Right. It's very abstracted, of course.
It's an abstracted game. It's kind of neat. Your hikers are going on that path. But there's games like Francis Drake that destroy this game, and it's not that much more complex than this is. I mean, Francis Drake is obviously a more complex game, but it has the same, go as far as you want and skip over the stuff, because you might want to be the first to go to this space to get a mountain token, but you just skip 4 tokens, or tiles. It's that type of game, and I like that type of game. I don't know if that mechanism really jives well for a family weight gateway game. It's like everything in the game is just like get 2 points, get 3 points.
Everything. Yeah.
And the pictures are so disappointing. It's basically trading 2 resources for 1 point, because every picture is just 1 point. If you have the camera, great. You're trading 1 for 1, which is essentially the same as buying a a park at that point, because most of them are, you know, depending on the resource count. You know, if you trade in water and sun, you're going to get a better ratio for your points than if you trade in mountains and trees to take pictures with.
Yes, and I absolutely will agree with you. This game is very, very tight in terms of points, and so it comes down to when you have two choices of where to go. You can go here and get 2 sun tokens, or you can go here and get 1 sun token. Yeah, obviously, you're going to do that. You know, you're going to get the 2. It's just, it comes down to you're not making very interesting decisions, unfortunately. And in terms of going along the trail and not being able to go backwards or whatever, that's not how I visit a national park. Like, you know,
well, I mean, the theme's abstracted, but yeah.
Yeah. But like, I obviously can't go back once I've entered the park. It's one-way traffic. I don't know.
One
it's
way.
It's bizarre. Yeah. And when everything is so tight as it is in this game, then it really comes down to, did you get the canteen that really helped you? Awesome. You're going to win. Did you get the equipment card that is better than the other equipment card that was on offer this round?
By far the most boring part of the game, by the way.
Yeah.
The equipment cards are so boring, honestly. A lot of them are, you can now take a picture on one of these specific hiking tiles.
Right.
Well, great, but if I'm not really going, like maybe I guess I wouldn't have bought that equipment card if it wasn't really tying in with my secret goal for the end of the game. However,
exactly.
It's just really boring to now I can take pictures there. Great. Because now I can trade in resources to get 1 point.
Yes. And as far as those secret goals go, those are ridiculous.
I actually would remove those from the game. They're garbage.
Yeah. You're not completing those goals. I mean, unless you're super, super lucky, it just happens to match everything you happen to do in the game.
And on top of that, maybe a secret goal is out that you have that works like awesome with one of the first gear cards that come out. Great. That person just did tremendously well in comparison.
Right.
Yeah, because those equipment cards or gear cards, whatever they are, you buy them and you have them for the whole game. And so obviously buying them early on, you're going to get the most use out of them. And there's some of them that are just kind of awesome where they completely reduce the cost of something, reduce the mountain cost from all the parks that you visit. That is insane. Like that's a really, really good card. The reduction ones are great. The one that take pictures and they're all like the same cost. It's either 2 or 3 suns. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. It's not a bad game as far as like playing it. It's fun. It's okay. You know, if you really like national parks or if you know somebody that does, this would make a good gift for them. Whether or not they play it, I don't know, but it is a fun game to try. I'm not saying you shouldn't try this game. And a lot of people like it.
A lot of people like it a whole lot, but I wonder how much of that is just because of the art, honestly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is the game truly doing that well because of the gameplay?
There's a lot of people that really are enthused about this game, and I've seen reviewers go gaga over this game. I'm sorry, it's okay. The game is okay, but to me it has an irritating mechanism. I actively dislike the Tokaido mechanism. And
one of the comments of DGG said, a beautiful light filler game. Number one, this is not a filler. Maybe if you're playing it 2 players, this is not a filler. Sorry.
It's not. No.
No, it's not a long game. It's not like a 2-hour game. It's just long for what it is.
Yeah. And here's the thing. We've played it with, larger player counts. We're playing 4 or 5 players. So maybe it's great with 2. I don't know. Maybe 2 or 3.
I'll never play it with 2 because I just don't really play 2-player games. But yeah, it's obviously going to be shorter with 2 people. And the track's a little bit shorter too. And maybe you're not going to fight over stuff as much. It probably is more enjoyable as far as getting resources, but you're still buying the same stuff.
Yeah.
You're just not beating people to the punch as much. So if you don't like that part of it, just play it with 2 or 3 people. But if you're okay with it, play it with 4 or 5, but just expect the fact that, by the time you get to the end of the track, maybe you don't have the resources because people are jumping in front of you or whatnot, and you can't buy, or somebody bought the one card that was out there. Now, I guess you could just like blitz all the way to the end and just get that card. But
your
you lose out on
your options get so limited. Your options like 1 or 2 things to do. That's it. And
yeah,
that's not enjoyable. That's, I see people reviewing this game and they're saying this game is like a relaxing walk through the parks. It's like, no, it's not. It's frustrating, just aggravation the entire time.
I definitely think it's more of like a 6.5. I don't think it's a 7.9 on Board Game Geek rating wise. That's a little high for me because it's not, number one, let's just say this. It's not doing anything that hasn't already been done to death already. You collect resources, you spend them on cards. You walk, that track thing is not unique. There's plenty of games that do it. It's not doing anything unique. And it doesn't have to do anything unique, right? To get a good rating.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is those other games are doing it better. The ones that I've played anyway. Maybe there's even more that do it even better than that. I think this does it okay. And for a game that you find in a mass market area, that's cool. But if you strip the theme away from this and put something else like generic fantasy on it, let's see what kind of score it gets now.
Right. If it wasn't for the artwork, here's what the biggest thing for me is I never once felt during this game like I did anything clever myself. Like, look at this move that
you just got lucky because Tim passed up the one spot you wanted to land on next.
Right. For me, there was never a moment of, excitement, exhilaration. This was an interesting turn. Sorry, no, it's just, okay, these are my 2 choices. I'll go there and I'll get this thing. And now I'll turn it in for like a few points and you'll do that too. And so will the next person. Oh my God. It's just, I'm sorry. There's nothing spectacular about this game for me.
Yeah. No, so, I'm not going to disagree with that.
It's a game.
It's a game. It's a game.
Now, I've been a downer this entire time about this game, and I'm sorry. I honestly didn't enjoy it, but there is some hope. There's some light at the end of the trail.
The expansion.
No.
Oh.
although there is an expansion for this game, and people do say that it improves it quite a bit. Okay. No, but there is a game that is being released soon that is by the same designers, and it's called Trails, using the same art. And the art is what makes the game. So it's supposed to be lighter. It's supposed to be more family friendly, there's supposed to be fewer moving parts. The original Parks game was sort of this in between thing where it wasn't really, there weren't enough meaningful decisions for gamers. That's why I didn't like it. And yet it was still a bit too crunchy for your average, family that just buys it at Target. And so the game Trails is going to be for that family audience. And I think it could save the game for me. Like this, if it has the same art and it has better gameplay, more intuitive, more fun gameplay, I'm down. I don't know if that's true. I don't know how they're going to change it, but I'm looking forward to it.
That's worth trying out, if anything.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap this one up. Anything else you want to say about it, or?
Oh, I think I've been harsh enough.
That's fair. It's gorgeous to look at. It's a really pretty game. The components are amazing. If you have the physical game, the little trays they have are in like shape of like trees, and you slot all the pieces in, and all the pieces are really good. The cards are quality. Everything is really great.
Yeah, the trays are great.
Yeah, the whole game is great as far as components and artwork. If you're not a big fan of national parks and you are a gamer, I don't think this is really going to do anything that's going to, do something cool that you haven't seen already, but it's worth trying out. So.
Yeah. If you've ever fallen asleep in a national park, playing this game will give you that feeling.
Oh my gosh. All right. Anyway, that is Parks. Please send hate mail to MeepleCore@gmail.com.
Actually, it depends. Can you fall asleep while you're aggravated? I don't know.
I don't know. I've never fell asleep in a park. Anyway, that's Parks. And last up, we are talking about the game Cryo.
This is a 2021 release. Competing factions must scavenge the wreckage of their colony ship to survive. The designers Tom Jolly and Luke Laurie. The artists are Brie Linso, Jasmine Radu, and Samuel Shimoda. And the publisher is Z-Man Games.
So in Cryo, you're basically playing a worker placement / area control game where the board is separated into 2 sections. You have the upper section, which is basically 4 different areas. And the theme of the game is essentially your ship was sabotaged and it blew up and crashed into this really icy planet into 4 different sections. Each of those sections have a bunch of different worker placement actions at them. The bottom of the board is a cavern system in which you're going to deploy the whole point of the game is you deploy drones to go do these worker placement actions to possibly get your surviving guys, which are in these cryostasis cylinder things, I guess cryostasis pods, and you're going to load this up on vehicles and then deliver them to the different parts of the cavern system to get points. On your turn, you basically have one action. You take a drone from your board. You have 3 of those that you can use, and you will place them onto the main board, do the worker placement action, and you're done. Or on your turn, you can recall all of your drones back to your board, in which you're actually going to trigger these different abilities that you have. Now, most of those abilities are blank right now. It's basically got a slot for spend this type of resource to gain this type of resource. The gain resource, there's a bunch of pre-printed stuff on the board, but the spending sections are all empty. And that's where you're going to get these tokens from the main board to place on your actual player board so that you can do those actions, right? So when you place a drone out, you might place it in a spot that allows you to pick up one of those tokens and modify your docking bays of your main board. And when you recall, you'll get all those things. On top of that, when you recall, you're going to trigger an event, which are called incidents. But basically, there's an incident marker, and this is also kind of the timer of the game. There are 6 spaces off to the side that you're going to stack up little stacks of incident tokens based on the player count. And then as the game goes on, you are going to, when you recall your drones, you will draw one of those incident tokens from, there's always going to be one face up on each section of the board, and you choose which one you want to have activated. And then a new one will replace it. So some of those will give you resources. Some of those will actually destroy spaces where the different cryopods are, destroying those players' pods for the game. And the game's going to end in 2 ways. Either all those incident tokens deplete from all those stacks of incident tokens, or one player has all their cryopods in the caverns, or they've been destroyed. I'm not going to talk too much about the rest of the rules other than a couple of things that really set this apart. And the first one is the cards. The cards of the game, there are 3 ways that you can spin them, essentially. There's the top section, and you have to take an action. You have to deploy one of your drones and take an action that allows you to play or draw a card. When you choose to play it, you will actually slot it onto your main board, your player board, from the top, the bottom, or place it face down on the left. When you place it on the left, you're doing a in-game scoring thing. When you place it on the top, you're doing a permanent ability. When you place it below, you're activating it as a makeshift vehicle that you can load those cryopods on and then deliver those to the cavern. And when you deliver them to the cavern, you actually have to have energy. So obviously you have to worker placement to get those energy tokens, or to raise your energy level so that you can ship those vehicles further into the cavern system. And at the end of the game, each of those spots in the cavern are worth points, kind of like a first place, second place type of deal. You get bonus points. You also get points for having them in the cavern anyway, 2 points per. You'll get 1 point for any of the pods that you've left on your player board. And that's pretty much it. Other than one last thing is the way the worker placement actions happen. If you're not watching the video or anything like that, basically each part of the ship has multiple places for the drones to land. And typically it's going to be adjacent to 2, 3, or 4 actions that you can take. So picture it like a brick pattern where like each layers of brick is offset. So when you place a brick, or when you place a drone, you got the thing to your left, the right, up and down. But if you place it in the corner, you only have access to 2 actions. And so that's kind of how the game allows players to block each other from the actions. like for instance, the draw card action only has 3 spaces next to it. At the beginning of the game, based on the player count, some of those spaces are disabled, and you have to have specific vehicles to be able to enter those disabled spaces. And lastly, the tokens in some of the action spaces are face up. Those are the ones you're getting that you can either discard for the abilities or for the resources that it shows, or you can modify your drone deployment areas for those for when you recall to get those abilities. So anything else we will mention, we will talk about while we're discussing our thoughts in the game. But that's kind of a general overview. You're just placing out workers until the game ends and getting points, basically. And I'll start with this one. This game was awesome, George. I'm just going to say it. This game was so fun. Like, here's the 2 type of games now that I look at and immediately think, okay, I'll play it. That is deck builders and worker placement games.
And I'm area control.
I'm okay with area control because we don't play that many of them, or at least I haven't. I mean, I've played a lot of them, but I'm saying I have played an enormous amount of deck building games and an enormous amount of worker placement games.
Sure.
And with both of those, you have to have something unique that's going to grab me. Lost Ruins of Arnak had that whole, it's a deck builder, but it plays more like Imperial Settlers or whatever, where everybody just takes one action, and it just really worked well for it.
Sure.
This game, the worker placement actions where they're next to a bunch of spaces, right? That is fantastic. The fact that you're grabbing those tokens and augmenting your player board, that is fantastic.
I'm amazed you're mentioning this in the same breath as Lost Ruins of Arnak.
We'll get there. And then, but for me, the biggest thing is the card play. If you're familiar with games like Lagrange, the card play is the same, right? You get a card, you can either slot it in the top, bottom, or the sides to do all these different things. So each card, like, oh man, I really want to use its ability, but I really want its in-game scoring because the ability does what the in-game scoring's drawing from, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's, oh man, it was a really good game.
Yes. I'm going to agree with you. This one, I know this surprises you, but this one,
I was like, wait a minute.
This one surprised me. Like, this is a good game. It's a very solid, game doing what it does. I don't think it does anything super original. I don't know how you're, drawing a comparison with Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Well, in comparison, but I mean, Lost Ruins of Arnak wasn't doing anything original either. I'm just saying it took the basic deck builder and added something unique to it with the way that the cards play and the way that they stack and stuff when you buy cards. Whereas this one's, it's not doing anything original either. Well, it is kind of doing one thing original that I really haven't seen, or at least not seen that much, is the action spaces where, like the grid pattern that it has laid out and the fact that you get those tokens and augment the recall ability.
I really did like that.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of agency as to what you're doing and the engine that you're building. So that feels good.
Yes. Just to add on that real quick before I forget, most games, when you recall your stuff, like each turn you play a card, you do a card, whatever. Oh, I'm going to spend this turn and rest. Nothing happens.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
In this game, like, quote unquote, resting or recalling your drones is almost cooler than actually placing your drones out in the other rounds.
Yeah, you get so much stuff. It's very good.
It's like combos. I'm going to do this one, get this, do this one, get this. Oh, I'll get this and get more of this.
Yeah, and you decide the order of it. Yeah. No, the game is very well designed. It's in terms of it is just a solid game design, and I was enjoying the whole thing. It's a shame that the whole thing is dressed like a dog's dinner, but I don't know.
Fan of the artwork?
I'm not.
That's
artwork
fair.
And the color choices, like it's odd looking to me, but I'm sure that's subjective. Somebody may really be into it.
I'm not the artwork looks cool to me. I don't mind it. What I do mind, though, is the storyline just doesn't make any sense at all to me.
Oh, man. Yeah, the theme. Forget the theme.
Here's the thing. So in the theme, the ship crashes because it was sabotaged.
Right.
And then you're basically trying to save all your own people because I guess the ship had 4 different factions worth of people on it.
Right. And screw those guys. I'm just going to save my people.
Not even just screw that. Like those incident tokens that flip out, you pick them and it's a sabotage token. So the ship is crashed. You're trying to spend the rest of this one day, get everybody underground because it's going to kill everything on top. And you
Not
choose
everybody.
that time
just your people.
Right. Yeah. You're choosing that time to sabotage pieces of the ship that's already broken and on fire. So for me, since the theme is just there, right? It's not like, unless this is based on some kind of book and I don't know about it. For me, I feel like this game should be more of a
co-op.
You get not really a co-op as far as like it's a competitive game. You get points, but as far as the theme should be is like you're one of the players, right? Each player represents a character that's like, oh, I'm out of stasis. I need to help everyone. And you're really doing it not necessarily for fame, but you will go on. Whoever gets the most points, obviously by saving the most lives, is going to go down in history type of deal.
Right.
And to say like the sabotage explosions and stuff, why can't it just be like parts of the ship are exploding because the ship is on fire in 4 sections on the ground and it's just on fire and pieces are just exploding every once in a while.
Right. Rather than you're now sabotaging what's left of the ship. Yeah. It's
like, why? I guess maybe all these factions truly, I don't know why they're on the same ship first off, if they hate each other, but at this point,
if it's that bad, yeah.
Yeah. What are you trying to do? Eliminate the other factions so that your faction takes over this crappy planet? So the theme is kind of stupid to me. Yeah. I don't get the betrayal type of thing, even though there's no betrayal in the game at all. The only betrayal is if you pick the incident token that blows a part of the stasis, cryo, pods up, you get to choose, if there's multiple, you get to choose which one goes off. But really, it just ends up being which one doesn't have my pieces. Okay.
Right. Can I hurt this particular player? Exactly.
I don't think I looked at it ever like that. It's just, are my pieces, do they exist here? No. Okay. That has all 3 other players. Over here, my pieces don't exist. It only has 2 other players.
Yeah. So you're going to blow up and do the most damage. Yeah. It's a weird theme. And I didn't enjoy that part of the game, but yeah. But I really did enjoy those cards, like you were saying, that, there's not that many cards, but they're all used in 3 different ways. And you really have to make some serious decisions about how you're going to use them because there's only so many actions in the game. You only get 15 to 20 actions. It's typical Euro. You don't get to do everything you want to do. So you've got to sort of maximize what you're doing as you do it.
You get a little bit more of that because when you recall, you are essentially taking actions then as well. But you're right, as far as placing guys out.
Yes. There is one spot in the game that seems a bit overpowered to me, and maybe it's because I never used it. But I don't know that I ever even had the chance to use it because, there aren't that many places in the game that get blocked off, but this one seemed to, because it's so good. And that was the explore action where you just get to explore a cavern and just put one of your guys out there completely for free. You don't have to pay the energy. You don't have to pay the extra.
Well, it's not completely for free. It's 2 resources, specific resources, plus you have to have one of your guys already. It's really nice though, because it does get guys out there. Otherwise, in order to get them through the cavern system, you have to have a vehicle, which means you had to take the play a card action first to play the vehicle. So it is nice.
It's like a teleport. Bam, you're there.
There's at least 3 spots for it, but the spots don't really, I don't think any of those, well, one of those spots of those 3 can be destroyed. So that's what's interesting about the game is at the beginning, there are so many spots on the board that have like these, I don't know, like Greek letters or something on them. And you shuffle up all these damage tokens and only so many come out per game, depending on the player count. So different spots are going to be damaged. You wouldn't think that would matter, but it actually does do a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if the spot next to the play a card is damaged, then a lot less card play is happening unless you do something on your main board, player board, to be able to have those actions.
Right. Yeah. And there always is sort of there's a card that you can play in a certain way to sort of undo whatever the restriction is that's in the game. Like there's one that'll just let you go to those spots that are damaged.
Right.
You know, so you have to just you have to know that those cards are there and think about which ones you really want to use for their powers in the game, because you only get 3 of them.
Agreed.
And that makes it really interesting. The game, you know, I saw some comments on BGG about the replayability of the game, but I think the replayability is absolutely going to be there just for that reason. The fact that
they were saying it wasn't good replayability. I think it's fantastic replayability. I
agree. I think so too. Like just the way that is going to come out randomly as far as what's damaged, and then, you know, in terms of what cards you have available to you to play, and how they're going to change the game up every time. Yeah, I think, you know, there's a lot of replayability there. And I don't think the game is long. The game didn't feel long. The game goes along at a nice pace. You feel like you're getting things accomplished. Yeah, you might get people blown up every so often, but that doesn't determine who wins the game, because, you know, for example, there was the game where you lost far more than anyone else, and you ended up winning the game. So because you were doing things that got you in places in caverns that got you a lot of points.
Yeah, that's what's really cool, is using like the moth, right? I think it's called the moth. It allows you, normally you have to, in the cavern system, you choose one of these energy markers in the tunnel, right? And it says you can now put guys on the space to the left and right of this. Yeah. There's extra resources you have to spend based on those cavern markers though, but you need energy to go deeper into the caverns to select those 2 spaces. But the moth gives you a power where 1 energy counts as 2. And so you can go deep all the time.
Yep.
And jump around and stuff. And what's really cool about this is, unlike most area control games, number 1, you will always get 2 points for every guy that you have down there. And in area control games, usually if like you're not first or second place, you get nothing. So if it was a high contested area, you might have had a lot of guys there and then get sniped at the last minute and then lose all those points, right? Or those potential
get
points.
Nothing. Yeah. Oh, you're right.
But in this game, all those pods you have there are 2 points apiece.
Right. Which makes sense. You save those people.
You save those people, right? You just didn't get the most there. The area control is kind of silly as far as the theme goes, but it doesn't really matter, because the points for it are usually like the first player gets 3 points or 5 points. But if you already have 3 or 4 guys there, that's, you know, 6 or 8 points already. So, I mean, yeah, it's like a double the points, you know, but the second place will get some too. And there's plenty of things down there to fight over. So, you know, if you don't get your points there, just go to somewhere else, you know, maybe get some more energy and go a little deeper and spend that 1 turn spending a lot of resources to put in a spot where other people are deterred from because it's expensive to do. I don't like the area control. My actual point of that is area control is there, but it's not going to determine the winner, right? It's almost like more like bonus points than it actually is the meat of how you're scoring.
Yeah, it is a lot of points though. I don't know.
It's a lot of points, but I mean, if you have the right in-game missions, because you can have up to 3 of those, if you have the right ones there and you have all your stuff down there, I guess more what I was trying to say is
it's not strictly the area control, and that's a good thing.
I didn't feel like I was only trying to go for area control. I was just trying to go down there and place things all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, there's an awful lot that this game does well, or gets right. It's one of the better Euros we've come across recently.
Yeah, really good, solid worker placement. I'm absolutely buying this when it comes out. So my final thoughts are, I will buy this. This is a great game, and it's a kind of a fresh take on a worker placement game, and I really, really needed one to jump out at me, and this is the one that did.
Yeah, and I don't know how strictly fresh it is. It's got a lot of interesting things to it, but it has an awful lot of things that you've seen before. But this is a Euro that I will definitely play again.
Fair enough. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up. That is Cryo. Another episode is down, George.
We did it.
it's kind of neat doing so many. What are we at? 127 episodes. That is crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
We're just trucking right along.
Let's see. I mean, we're still recording, right? You got it recording?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if you're the next episode. I don't like talking about the next episode because things can change.
Don't.
Oh yeah, that's true. Are you ready for it?
No.
Oh, no. All right. Well, maybe things will change. We won't talk about it then. So
there's going to be more episodes. We'll just leave it at that.
That's fair. The next episode is next week. No.
Yes.
All right. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up. We want to thank you again for tuning into episode 127 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. This episode was recorded on June 8th, 2021. Send questions and comments and hate mail to meeplecore@gmail.com. Follow MeepleCore on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And until next time, Tim, this is Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple.
George Breden.
Keep on rocking and rolling dice.